We're gonna do. So I put some California chili in here, and then I put some Chile Nuevo Mexico, and I put some pasilla, and you could just see it's starting to thicken up. You could use the peppers if you'd like. You could use the dried peppers and process them, making like a mole, and that'll probably be something I'll be doing. And then to show you, and then and see, this is pork in here. Remember, it's pork. I have my beef and I have my chicken. I have it all separated, and it's nice and thick. You see how beautiful that is. You should have a tamale party and have for Christmas. Have a tamale party. I mean, talk about a nice Christmas gathering. Okay, and then I have some cumin that I'm going to put in there. I love cumin. So that cumin gives it a little bit of a rustic flavor. I love cumin. A lot of people don't like cumin, but you know what? The taste is so faint on this that I'm trying to find my scissors here. The taste is so faint on that cumin. It just kind of, you don't want to overpower it by putting a lot of cumin. And I mean, this is like what? 0.7 ounces. And I'm only using like a quarter of that in this large pot, because it can smell like, it can be really stinky. And you just want to enhance the flavor. And of course you can put whatever flavors you want. And then I'm going to put some pepper. It's like, I would say about a good tablespoon for that amount of pepper. Okay. And then, so I put the onion, I put the garlic, I put the cumin, pepper, and then of course, guess what's next? Instead of salt, because I salted the, I did salt when I was cooking the meat. I salted it a little bit because it helps the meats cook longer, and it brings in the flavor, and I mean, it helps the meat cook, and I mean, it's just something that I've always done. I don't know too much of the science behind it, but there are 5 purposes in salt, and using salt, but for the stock, it just flavors up the meat, and then you don't have to use that much salt. So I'm going to taste it. So, okay, you want to taste it before you add the bouillon in there, okay? So I'm tasting it, right? I'm going to put this stuff aside. Oh, the flavors, those are the flavors that I want, but you know what? Because they're pork, I want to put a little kick in there. So, I'm going to reach in here and get something that you have to be very, very careful when you use it. Cayenne. Oh, this will hurt. I have it labeled. This will hurt you. And hot stuff. Now, with your spices, you have to get rid of your spices if they're outdated. So I do that every year. Clean out my cupboard with my spices. So I'm just going to use the tip of the spoon here. I'm just going to drop a little bit of cayenne. You could use ancho. You could use chile de árbol is another one. But since I don't have any, I'm going to use this cayenne. Okay? Because I want to make them a little bit more spicier. And I'm going to lower that heat so it doesn't splash in my eyes. And that's what you want to do when you're making these. Okay? Okay. Oh yeah. Because I want that spice not to hit you in your face. You want that spice to kind of come up on your tongue. And you don't want the spice to just like blam. You can put jalapeno peppers and serranos in there if you want. But I just want the pure picadillo sauce in there. So as you've seen, I doctored it up. I added the enchilada sauce that's already in a can, and then I added 2 of the small cans of tomato sauce, which is what, like they're 4 ounces each, and I added 2, and see, and I have its nice flavor. Oh my gosh, that's so delicious. I have to try it again, and I don't. You know, if I didn't have to put any salt on my face, I would take it just like that. But if I really want to take it over the edge, I'm going to go ahead and put, like, I would say that's about a tablespoon, maybe a couple tablespoons. And that's just chicken. You can do a combination. It's not going to take away from, well, that's probably a good tablespoon, because these spoons are really small. It's not going to take away from, I should have used another spoon, but that's okay. I'm going to use this up really quick. And that's chicken with pork. I know. Why use chicken with pork? Because what happens is it's just the flavoring. If you don't have pork, base flavoring, then you can go ahead and use the chicken. I add a little bit of beef just to put some darkness in there, and not much, and kind of compensate what you have. So I'm going to go ahead and try that again. That's going to be good. So I'm going to let that cook and simmer. I think I want to put a little bit more, only because. So I would say about a couple of tablespoons, because that is a large pot. Now, like, I didn't put a lot of salt when I boiled the meat. And you be careful though, because sometimes you can over salt it. And that's when it gets just dribbled on my beautiful towels. And that could get a little bit annoying. And then if you over salt it, just go ahead and add some water, because it is a base that's made for soups, which I use it for flavoring basically, or flavoring. And then you can add some more of your broth, unsalted broth. Okay? Simmer for a while. Okay? Oh, much better. Yum. And once that simmers, and since it's already, it's already warm, I'm just going to go ahead and let it simmer without the lid so it can become really concentrated. I mean, a little bit concentrated. It's just going to taste better. Okay? So, I have my beef, I have my chicken. I don't need this. So I'm going to put this over here somewhere. And then now the masa. Now I know I've done a couple videos with the masa, but no, I wasn't too sure if I did a video with using the fat from the meat itself. So as you've seen, I have some here. I have some of this. So you want to take out your big bowl. This is a large bowl. This is a large bowl. Very large. When I used to have my own restaurant, I had a lot of these bowls, but and I used to have my own place, I had a lot of these bowls. Anyways, there's my bowl. And I'm going to go ahead and use, so I have my broth right next to my mixer. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a scooper. Here, another bowl. Okay? For my liquid. Okay, before I put the liquid, of course, like I showed you in the other clips, some baking powder. That's about a good teaspoon. Maybe a couple teaspoons. Not even a couple teaspoons, maybe a teaspoon and a half. Probably not even, probably a heaping teaspoon. And this is baking soda. Mama said it used to make the tamales rise. Yes. And I used to always ask her, how much do I put in there? She says, ponle bastante. Enough. Okay. So, and then I'm going to take my broth. I'm going to slowly pour that in there because I don't want it to clump up. So I don't know exactly how many cups that is. I don't know. Kind of wing it here. I don't know. That's a good pint, maybe, and a half. 2 pints. Quart. So I'm watching this, and it's not so clumpy. And then what I'm going to do is take, like I showed you before in the previous, let me see, I need Legos here. Now I'm going to take some of the top of the, you can add the, you can use powder, but I'm going to take the top and then add that. But I want to stir it, make sure all the peppers are there. Okay. Okay. Then just add that in there. Okay. And I'm using that to flavor my masa. Okay. Where'd this come from? Okay, put that over there. And I'm going to do this continually until I fill this up. So I'm going to add some chicken flavoring in there. And I just taste the masa. That's a good a heaping teaspoon. Maybe a couple teaspoons. And you know what? If this is where you can't really go wrong because you're adding it. If you put too much on your first batch, you can put less on your second batch. And then you want to go ahead and add this fat soup with the liquid. Add a little bit of the lard. Okay. And you just let that ride for a while. So, again, you have your baking soda, baking powder, your masa de harina, just a little bit of the fat residues from your, people call it soup, I call it fat residues or whatever, from the meats, and that you ground it, that you blend it, and some of your prepared lard that you found, the best lard that you can find. Sometimes you could go to the butcher and ask them to get the fat and make you your lard, which is so cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of that, because it's starting. See, I want to go ahead. What I want to do is make sure, the key to making sure that you have good masa is that you put enough fat in there that the masa is flavorful, and that you want it. My mother used to say, because we used to do this by hand, make sure that it pulls away from the bowl itself, the masa, that it's so gathered. You want to mix it enough that it's pulled away from the bowl. So, if that makes sense. Yeah. That's to me. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this fat. That's more like flavor. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this lard in there. But, I'm telling you, these are traditional tamales. Every year I say I'm not going to do them anymore, and I keep making them. And people ask me, Mary, don't ever stop making tamales. And I'm like, okay. I've even been called the tamale queen. What an honor. But my mother, to me, was my tamale queen. So, so this is starting to And you know what? And because that masa is a little bit too light for me, I'm going to add a little bit more pepper in there. So I'm going to get a little bit of this. I pretty much have the flavor in there. Because remember, your masa is plain. Your dry masa is, but it's up to you, however you want to flavor it. Like I have videos of there with pumpkin. And you can make sweet, you can make all kinds. You can put chocolate chips if you want in your masa. So what it's starting to do, it's starting to, from the sides, and you want to do this gradually and slowly. From the sides, it's starting to disconnect from the sides. I could see that. And that's a good sign that you have enough fat, you have enough fat in there. But I'm going to put just a little bit more. So this liquid that I took from the meat has a mixture of the fat, the broth mixed up in there. Makes it delicious. Okay? So I'm going to hurry up and taste that. Now, oops, be careful when you're mixing it and that you don't do what I just did, which is, I kind of want to, so I'm kind of scooping on the sides, and I'm kind of folding it in so that it mixes. And I have it on low because I don't want it to splatter all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. Okay? So I want to make sure that the flavors are there. I'm only going to try a little bit. The flavors are there, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more bouillon or a base, because, and I may add some salt. They have to be flavorful. Okay. And this is already, I don't really have to. So I'm going to put a little bit of the beef. Yeah. is going to go into my pork. Now I could use the pork, but it's okay. So I really want to put, and like I said, if you want to use, you want to put garlic in there, granulated garlic, onion, whatever seasonings you want in your masa, you can. Put whatever. Make them your own. Because it's kind of nice to have like your own, oh, these masas are different, but they taste good. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some of my pork in there. Because I know my pork has a lot of flavor. And the reason why I put the hot in there to make sure that the fats can melt in the masa, but I don't want to put it too hot because I don't want to make it too hot because it'll cook the masa. And I'm going to put a little bit of more of that fat in there. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in there, and it's going to be delicious. So, I'm going to be filling this up, and I'm going to come back and maybe show you how to do the tamales. I already have a couple clips out there with how to put them together, how to really bring your tamales together. Okay, I'll see you soon, and have a wonderful day.